Speedrunning Quintessential Quintuplets with bad jokes. But again. So 3 of the sisters have a little heart-to-heart, and the conversation itself ain't all that important, as it's just Itsuki being Itsuki again. And to stop that, they try to dress her like Miku. Speaking of whom, she is now in the same bed as Futaro. He's actually in her bed, which she gave him for the sleepover, but she forgot. He tries to escape this situation, and meets Chekhov's cosplay outside. He figures it out pretty much instantly, and crushes her away so they don't find Miku in the room. Then he tries to bullshit himself out of that situation by saying she's probably in the library, so they all go there. Uesugi is still bothered by the whole Itsuki situation, which is understandable considering how she's been acting, so Ichika tells him to go figure it out. In the sibling building, he runs into Miku and lies his way out of the awkwardness of having slept in the same bed. By the way, Miku looks so weird without the headphones, I hate it. Having found Itsuki in the apartment, he begins his performance, which is pretending to think she's Miku and teaching her stuff that way. Both of them know the truth, but they still do the roleplay. I mean, if it works, then it works. This is also where I believe Itsuki starts catching feelings for him, and Nino just kinda stares at them, full of jealousy. He has a dream where the sisters get perfect scores on the exams, but wakes up at their place. He was allowed to stay there again by Itsuki, and now it's exam day. The very important day that will determine whether Futaro gets to live another day or gets killed by the redhead mafia, and oh shit, they're late. Every single one of the quints makes it as difficult as possible to get there in time by stopping everywhere for no good reason, and yet they still make it to school 3 minutes after the check-in. Except Yotsuba, she got there in time because she's into sports, so she's athletic. So Uesugi comes up with a brilliant plan. Use the Chekhov's cosplay again and have them all pretend to be Yotsuba. Crazy that this actually worked. So the sisters write their exams, and it turns out the tutoring sessions actually did something, as this little montage of them remembering things suggests. After the exam, they all gather in the library, and it turns out all of them passed, in only one subject, and each of them a different one. Futaro just accepted death in that moment. His last message changed the world. Miku asks him what the fuck he's talking about, so he admits to the death threat from their father, and oh shit, he's calling. Mr. Dad asks for the exam results, and just when Uesugi is about to sentence himself to death, fucking Nino bails him out. Not Itsuki, not Miku, not even Yotsuba, Nino. May this finally be the redemption arc? Anyway, he takes them out for some parfaits as a reward for passing the exams, which they didn't do. Oh, and also he got perfect scores. In the next episode, we find out that Uesugi as a kid used to be a fucking player. He'd get all the bitches, and during that time he met a very vaguely looking girl in a white dress with red hair. Man, I really wonder how that information ties into this series. I mean, when have we ever seen a person who is a redhead here? Quick cut through the opening, and Miku made inedible food again. Though as usual, Futaro likes it. But Yotsuba though. So Miku tried remaking the croquets until they weren't ass. But she couldn't, so now he's dying from overeating. While she went out to grab some medicine, Nino and Itsuki come by, mock him for being a baby, and they try to leave. Uesugi obviously doesn't want that to happen because his life still depends on them studying, so he sends Yotsuba after them to stop them, and tells her to lie if she has to. But you see, the joke of the episode is that she's a bad liar. She tells him that they can't leave because he's dying. Which I wouldn't say is a lie, actually, if I can look at him, but Yotsuba makes it look like he has ultra cancer or something. But nonetheless, he decides to play into it, coughing up blood ketchup. Itsuki buys it, which is consistent with her character actually, as it's already been established earlier that she's stupid, and Nino is talked into making him food by Yotsuba. Speaking of whom, she tries to talk Itsuki into holding Futaro's hand just like their mother used to, but it doesn't work. Though this scene is really only here to show that the mysterious girl from the beginning of the episode was indeed one of them. And then Nino slips on the blood ketchup and kills Futaro. They figure out that he didn't actually have another evolution of COVID and was just faking being ill, so they leave and now there's only these two left. They have a little conversation about how all the sisters grow personally into being a better person slowly but surely, and then she takes it back later though. Man. Yotsuba rushes into the school chanting about the school camp, which is how you find out they're going to a school camp, and that Uesugi is in charge of the test of courage. He got forced to organize it by his class, so he wants to get his revenge by making it actually scary. The conversation gets driven into Yotsuba talking about the camp more, and how at the last day, there's always a dance by the fire, which, according to a legend, the couples that dance together are bound to be together until the end of time. And then looks at Futaro in a very telling way, but he shuts her down saying that this shit is stupid. Off topic, but this is a very Yotsuba-centered episode, I've just noticed. Not that I'm complaining, she's still best girl. Anyway, going back to the show, Ichika comes into frame and gives Futaro her number, so she can let him know if there's some emergency filming that needs to be done. Immediately after that, she sets him on a quest to get everyone else's number, or else she'll send a photo of him lying on her legs to them. Miku gives it without question, Itsuki sells it for the price of sliding into Raika's DMs, Nino gives out hers so she isn't left out in the group chat, she wrote it in his school ID holder thingy, and Yotsuba left to meet with the basketball club without giving her number, so Uesugi rushed after her leaving the thingy behind. Remember that. Yotsuba declines joining the club because she's got shit to do and there's a person that she really likes, and then she meets that person outside. When Futaro goes back home, he remembers that he didn't come back for Nino's number, which means that she still has a school ID, which has a photo of him from his childhood, back when he got all the bitches. So he fucking spawns in her room like a horror movie. She gives him a lecture about how he's weird, which I agree with, and agrees to give it to him if he pierces her ears. She doesn't want to do it herself because she's scared. He asks if she's sure and tells her that it will hurt for a while. So she's like, how the fuck do you know that? He agrees and tries to steal the ID from her, but fucks it up and... Look at this fucking clown. Remember when I said that Nino really wants a bad boy in my last video? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But anyway, she gets really turned on by young Futaro, but she doesn't understand that it's him. So she asks him to hook her up with him, and he agrees. In turn, she tries to show him a photo of theirs from childhood, but he doesn't look. Instead, he looks at the other half of his own picture, which turns out to have one of them in it. And now you have to wonder who it was. Next episode, Yotsuba is all fired up about the camp and the dance of dating. Uesugi doesn't care, and Miku has an existential crisis. Thankfully, Ichika comes to save the day. But not for long, because they must run away from their responsibilities for this anime to make sense. She hands Miku a wig with her hair color and asks her to fill in for a class meeting for her, to which she agrees. But it turns out, it wasn't a class meeting at all, and instead this guy wanted to confess to Ichika. However, he catches on to Ichika not being Ichika enough, so Futaro goes to bail her out. The dude gets physical and gets ready to beat the shit out of him when... Uh-oh. Mikuchika tells him all about their relationship and love, but the dude ain't that stupid. He knows something is up, so he tells him to prove it, by holding hands. Now, there is no way that they would do that. I mean, that would be illegal. They aren't actually dating. He finally accepts defeat and tells Futaro to be happy for him. When Miku asks the dude why he confessed to someone he liked, she's gonna do it a few more times. She's on her learning social interactions arc, so don't worry about it. After that whole spiel, 4 out of the 5 sisters take Uesugi to shopping so that he doesn't look so fucking dorky at the camp. And the anime actually did the speedrunning for me here. They just skipped through all of that. And apparently, during that time, Raiha got sick. Why would they animate his breathing like this? Anyway, Raiha asks him to do a lot of cool stuff on the camp so he can tell her all the stories. And then the show cuts to the next day with him deciding not to go because Raiha is sick. He tries to act like he doesn't care about not going, but right that second Raiha wakes up not sick anymore and tells him to go to the camp. But it turns out the boss already left without him and now he can't go there. What the fuck are you doing here? They came here when the teacher asked Itsuki to organize the test of courage. She couldn't do that because she was scared. So she fucking broke into his house apparently and kidnapped him. Okay then. The big Hero 6 pull up to an inn with only one 4-person room free. Nino immediately goes to sexism thinking he's gonna molest them or something, which is fair honestly, I wouldn't trust him either. Not when he's that hyped about something, it never ends well. Ichika asks Miku if she can really take Futaro for herself during the campfire dance, and she agrees, and they even reconfirm their statements in their thoughts after, so you can already tell that it's not gonna be that easy. Anyway, the screen cuts to their dinner and oh my god, that food looks so good. Anime food always looks so good, man. It always makes me hungry. They talk more about the camp and the activities that will be there, and the conversation eventually ends up on the dance, and how Nino thinks that no one present in this room has a partner. So Ichika changes the subject to fan service. During the bath scene, they talk about who is gonna sleep next to Futaro, and it turns out that none of them really want to do it. So obviously, all of them do. Next morning, Ichika finds herself very close to Futaro, and realizes that she kinda actually likes him. And then Itsuki walks in on her leaning over him, but doesn't know who it was, just that it was one of them. And then the episode ends with every Quinn thinking about Uesugi in some way. In the next episode, they are finally in the camp, and they are doing camp stuff, I guess. I don't know, is this what it looks like in Japan? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, the dude from the Ichika incident is back. The dude is on some rant about being lonely, and asks him a bunch of relationship stuff, but the Gigachat Futaro just completely ignores him. Yotsuba pulls up neglecting her responsibilities again, because she wants to help Uesugi enjoy the trip. So he leaves to work on the test of courage with her, and leaves the dude with his demons. The show completely skips over the preparations and just goes right into the thing, which, okay, I guess. Though I guess they didn't really plan anything, because they're just kinda sitting in this bush and screaming at people. They tell Ichika and Miku that there's a dangerous cliff ahead, and that they should follow the sign, which they will definitely do, for sure, don't worry about it. Moving on, it's Itsuki and Nino's turn to have screen time now, and they spend it on running away, in the wrong direction. Itsuki gets lost and Nino's flashlight dies in the middle of the forest, which is just wonderful. She gets found by Futaro eventually, but he was still wearing his wig from the costume, so he looks like his old self from the photo, and Nino has a crush on him. He decides to play the role just so he doesn't have to deal with her shit, but it ain't that easy, because she doesn't want to let him go. He names himself Kintaro and they go looking for Itsuki. He keeps unintentionally raising her up by saying anything. It's literally this meme, but it's an anime. She takes a good look at him, and I mean very close up, and the only thing she notices is that he has a bruise. It's been set up that she's stupid quite a while back, so this actually checks out. Also, I don't like nice Nino, it freaks me out. It feels like I'm gonna get stabbed in the back at some point. Go away. Anyway, tangent's over. They hear something in the background, probably just Yotsuba scaring someone, but they still take off like a plane from there. She's just about to stop liking him for being a pussy, but then he saves her life, so now he's fucked. She asks him to hold her hand because she's scared, but instead of doing that, he just gives her the bracelet he got from Raiha. She tries again and invites him to dance with her at the campfire, but before he gets to respond, Itsuki comes by, so he takes that opportunity and just disappears. Cut to Miku and Ichika. Ichika suggests they swap places for the dance, but Miku disagrees, even though she clearly wants to. Why are you doing this to yourself, Miku? What is wrong with you? Cut back to Nino, thirsting over bizarro old Futaro while telling the OG one to suck a dick. They all have some problem with him this episode, except Ichika, I guess. She has a different reason to avoid him. But they all do kinda just do that for some reason, sometimes. Thank God Yotsuba is a normal human being. She asks him to help her move the wood for the campfire, but he don't even lift, bro. They go for round 2 and Yotsuba is gone. She doesn't exist now, it's only Ichika. He gives all his might to lift the wood and try to talk like a normal person, only to fail in the latter. Ichika offers to hear him out and then help him talk to the other sisters by doing impressions of them, and then gives him some advice. And the trick is to be a dick to Nino and be nice to Itsuki and herself. However, she stops when she remembers that whole Miku debacle, and no, I don't know what debacle means. They start talking about the dance and wonder what they should do with it when Uesugi proposes to call it off. He does make some pretty good points from his perspective actually, but that's the thing. From his perspective, they all hate him. From theirs, not so much. It's a fucking romance anime after all. Ichika starts then crying, which no wonder, she just got rejected by him. They hide away when some other people come by to get the rest of the wood and notice there isn't any left. Futaro remembers her lesson and gives her his jacket because, as she said before, she is cold, which fucks with her even more. And then they get locked in. And then the episode ends. They begin the next one by stating that they are, indeed, fucked. He tries to break open the door, which, buddy, I hate to tell you that, but that ain't gonna work. We've seen that you are not exactly the strongest out there. And also there's the alarm that would get set off. Which would be a good thing, actually, because they would bring attention to themselves, as Uesugi noticed. But Ichika doesn't want to do it because she doesn't want Miku to get sad. I don't get how she'd get sad by them escaping, but it doesn't matter because that decision led to the best scene in the show. Man, what a good way to die. He tries to start a fire so they don't die from hypothermia. But how the fuck did you get all of that, my guy? Was it just lying there, or did he cut up the logs into desks in a bow with nothing? The other girls find out they're missing, and Miku connects the dots that it's both of them, in the same circumstances and timing, and that conversation she had with Ichika earlier, when she asks if she could really have him, so she goes to look for them. Oh hey, look, it's the key to the warehouse they're in. Wonder if that's important. Back to the prisoners, Ichika is talking to him about some random shit, and he's ignoring her. So she starts thinking about some more serious stuff, for example, why isn't he asking why she cried, and why did she cry, and says out loud that she might quit school. So he's like, no, not my fucking paycheck! And what? He asks why she wants to quit school, and she explains that she can easily make millions on OnlyFans selling her bathwater, and also she wants to remove herself from his dating pool so that Miku will be happier. He eventually tells her to go for it and finally lights the fire. That reminds Ichika of the calling off the dance, and she agrees to it, but only if they do it right now. He says sure, whatever, not like anyone's gonna see us and the legend can't be real, to which Ichika asks him what legend he's talking about. He explains, and then Ichika gets a panic attack because she tried to take it from Miku, and then some cosmic lining up shit happens and they end up in this pose. Bro has unintentional riz. I'm gonna stop saying riz now. The impact of the log set off the alarm, and the sprinklers apparently, so the both of them are panicking because they don't know what to do. But thankfully, they didn't need to do anything because Itsuki and Miku find them. Itsuki immediately goes to being antagonistic towards them, which like, why? Do you not see the condition they're in? Are you stupid? Well, actually you are, my bad, carry on. They wake up after some time, and Ichika is sick. She has a bit of a heart-to-heart with Itsuki, where she finds out that it was Ichika in the inn, and it's kinda quick because it's only been 3 months that they know each other. Huh? Fucking when? How do you spend so much time together, as friends, and yet still despise each other? Ichika asks Itsuki if she really thinks that Futaro is such a bad person, and then the cliff gets hanged with a cut to Futaro. Ah! That shit scared me, man, what the hell? She drags him out to go skiing when he is obviously very sick, but it doesn't look like she cares. He doesn't know how to ski, and when Yotsuba offers to hold his hands and teach him, he declines, which is just an objectively incorrect decision. He then asks where the other idiots are, and no, I didn't edit that in. But basically, Ichika is sick, Itsuki is with her, Nino is already skiing, and a wild Miku appears, again without headphones, which freaks me out, but at least she has a puffy jacket, so it's fine. She falls majestically after Futaro puts his face in front of her. He then reaches his hand out to help her, but she declines. I guess she's mad after yesterday, but like, why? I mean, I know why, it's because she's jealous, but she's still being kind of a bitch. On Uesugi's way down, he meets Ichika, who is definitely not Itsuki. Yotsuba starts molding because neither Miku nor Futaro listen to her when she's trying to teach them how to ski. Now you know how it feels. Not Itsuki proposes to play tag, and since Yotsuba is the best at skiing, she's gonna be it. She agrees and then starts counting. Futaro rushes out to catch up to Miku, but fails and is caught up to by Ichika, definitely not Itsuki, who asks him if he had told anyone about yesterday, and no, he didn't. He also never learned how to stop, so he just dies now. And the last episode of the show is just his funeral. He rises from the dead, however, because they didn't want him in hell, and he ain't getting into heaven, so now he's just back. From the impact of hitting the tree, he loses his band-aid he got from Nino, and she just so happens to be there, thinking that it's the grand return of Kintaro, so he just speeds off, and almost runs into Yotsuba, who's looking for everyone, because, you know, tag. Caught between a rock and a hard place, he gets dragged into an igloo by Miku. He tries to get out because cramped space, but she stops him. For a few reasons, but she tells him it's because Yotsuba is still outside. She proposes a handicap for her, like a thing to carry, so she's slower and so that they can escape. But Futaro disagrees, because their physical abilities used to be the same, and she worked hard to be athletic, and she doesn't want to take it away from her. I guess that works. Miku overloads her brain with thoughts and memories, and then tries to stand up, you know, kinda like a reboot, but hits her head on the igloo ceiling, and they both laugh at it. He leaves, Yotsuba is looking for him, Nino is looking for him, but she doesn't know it yet. Itsuki is doing whatever, no one cares, and Miku calls Ichika, and then the ending plays. Moving on to the next one, Ichika answers the call and asks her what's up. So Miku answers that it's about the dance and the legend. According to it, the thing that actually binds their souls together is holding hands, and Futaro has two of them, so they can both hold one. Ichika gets a tuberculosis cough moment, so she didn't hear what Miku said, and then Futaro comes in from outside. Whatever, it ain't important. Ichika tells them to find Itsuki because she's probably lonely. Futaro and Miku wonder where she could be when he admits to himself that he's sick, and he thinks he got it from Raiha when she was sick, and then he gave it to Ichika, which could be what happened, but it seems to me that the more probable cause was the sprinkles going off the day before, as it was cold outside and they were wet. And in that moment, Miku gets body slammed by Yotsuba. The rest of the lasses pull up with Yotsuba, but they don't have Itsuki, so Uesugi jumps to the conclusion that she's lost, which does make sense. Yotsuba says she might be in the closed-off track. Nino wants to go to the cottage to check if she came back, and Ichika is acting quite a bit suspicious, trying to stop them. Futaro gets like a fever dream big brain moment and figures this whole thing out. He tells everyone to shut up, takes Ichika on the ski line thingy, tells her to cut that shit out and takes off her hoodie, revealing Itsuki. Itsuki asks him how he knew that she was Kira, and he tells her it's because the broadcast he played on TV was only played in a single place. Wait, fuck, wrong show. He tells her it's because Ichika calls him by his first name, and Itsuki called him Uesugi-kun. Cut to actual Ichika, and we find out what the answer to her question was. She doesn't think he's that bad, but it's different with relationships. She doesn't know anything about him, so she has to be careful with him. But she doesn't realize that she doesn't know anything about him because she keeps distancing herself from him. All of this shit is your fault, Itsuki. You're the bad guy. Right after that, we cut back to Itsuki and Futaro. He calls her stupid and then just kinda dies. Fast forward a bit, and the sisters are gathered around him. Futaro has to go in the room to rest. Itsuki and Ichika want to stay with him because they're worried, but they all get kicked out by the teacher. When they try to leave, Uesugi stops Nino for a quick cut to the other sisters, deciding that they shouldn't really go out and have fun without him because they brought him here by force, and now he's sick because of them. I'll get back to that, but for now Nino. Futaro tells her that Kintaro, his alter ego, had to go and do something so he can dance with her. She's understandably upset with this and tells her friends. She has friends, by the way, and then leaves them, so she doesn't anymore. The dude who had a crush on Ichika gets asked out by this girl right here. Bro actually got bitches, no way. Miku and Ichika talk about Futaro. Ichika says she's sorry she didn't realize that she was kinda in the way of Miku and Uesugi, and Miku tells her it's fine, because now instead of waiting, she'll actually fight for him. Also, Miku, you have to stop giving them the matcha soda. You've done it a bunch, they never wanted it, I don't think it's good. Itsuki finds Yotsuba standing by a bed, holding Futaro's notebook that highlighted all the stuff he wanted to do in the camp, and is sad because he couldn't, and it's their fault. But Itsuki finds a page with the stories he wrote down for Raiha, and shows her to cheer her up. And it does work. She runs off to Uesugi to ask him if he had fun. Itsuki also sneaks into the room while the teacher was sleeping, and when he goes away, she goes to light up the room, but finds literally everyone else in there. They talk about why they're there. For example, Nino is here to give him the good luck bracelet, and then Itsuki walks over to him, just when the people outside the building are doing a countdown for the dating dance to end, and that they should grab their partners by their hands so they can be connected for life. All of the sisters start grabbing Futaro's hand, and when the countdown goes to 0, the show cuts to an adult, Raiha, getting a call from Futaro who fucking forgot his wedding ring. Is he stupid? No wonder he married one of them, they fit very well. Also, his dad too forgot his wedding ring. Fucking bruh. After Raiha and her dad eat their breakfast, she spawns in the wedding place, and finds one of the Nakano idiots, the bride, getting her hair done, and Futaro sleeping. Who the fuck sleeps at his own wedding, by the way? Anyway, he's wearing the bracelet he got from Nino, that was made by Raiha, and now it's wedding time. The dude from before congratulates someone getting married. He did as well, to that girl from before too. Futaro rants in his mind about the camp, that he doesn't remember what happened, but he did like it there. And then the bride walks in. And no, by the way, you don't find out who it was. Not in this season anyway, though I will probably go through it in another video. Anyway, cut back to the past. Every sister is holding a finger on his hand by the time the soul bonding ritual ends. He wakes up after that and screams at them to fuck off because he can't sleep. And that's basically the end. There's one more scene of him harassing them sexually with studying, you know, his whole shtick, but that's just a teaser for season 2. I like this show. It's not great, but I like it. I'll do season 2 and maybe the movie if you guys want me to. And I thank you for watching this video until the end. If you liked it, then please like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want, and then have yourself a day. See ya.